So this is going to be the Memoirs of Italy, the fourth. I think the first one I was just mentioning it. That's why I didn't count as one or the first memoirs. And this is going to be the fourth, and the story is about around this time in Italy. End of May, beginning of June, which is still spring. All right, so it's considered going into the late spring because they do it faithfully. 24th of June, then the summer starts. They don't mix the seasons. Therefore, the way they wear their outfits are according to the rules, the unspoken rules that I'm talking about. But anyway, this is not about style. And I'm just going to talk about the Memoirs of Italy. Not every year we would go to Sicily, but several times we did go to Sicily. The place of where the family had a villa is called, oh, this is a good one. I don't remember. Cacciatore. Cacciatore. Cacciatore actually in Italian means, oh my God, oh, come on. You see, when I don't prepare when I make video. Anyway, a hunter. Cacciatore is hunter. So this place is called Cacciatore, where the villa is situated. When I say villa, it's not like a villa, the classic villa. This is just a normal house with 3 bedrooms and living room and dining room and a very, very tiny kitchen. But it's surrounded by their vineyard, because the vineyard, it's vast behind it, and on the side just like a garden. And that I think was the first time in my life that I saw a blackberry tree, because they had a blackberry tree as well. But Pietro, at that time, I don't recall anymore whether we went there. The house was vacant just for the 2 of us, or the sister and the mother were already there. If I recall well, I think the first time we went to Sicily, the sister and the mother were there. And then after, the sister had to go back to Milan since her leave from work was already up. So she had to leave the mom with Pietro and me. Yeah, that was the first time. Yeah, exactly. And so we went there and we would stay in this house. And the funny thing is, this is my first time, so I don't know still their tradition or their, costume or their habit even. So I was sleeping with Pietro. Obviously that we were given a room, just a normal house, okay? Don't romanticize like it's a villa, typical Italian villa in the film. No, this is just a normal house. So I didn't know that in the house, every door is open. There's no key. So even when we were sleeping, it's not like the door was closed. But then I felt a little bit uncomfortable. So I think Pietro understood it. I didn't even mention to him. But he understood that, the door should be closed because, my God, him and me, and then the mother and the sister, it's very strange. Because after all, it was my first time. So I, was not accustomed to the Italian, surrounding mentality and way of doing things. So we were sleeping there, and then we, the whole night, of course, we slept there. And the next morning, I was startled. Because suddenly the sister just came in and said, "Buongiorno." I was with Pietro in bed still. "Buongiorno," and the mother just came in. "Buongiorno, buongiorno." It's beautiful. If I recall back that's what they did. Oh, I would love to have that moment again, reliving it, with them being so, you know, invadenti in Italian, invading, your privacy. Now I don't mind, to tell you frankly, but at that time I was so bothered because they didn't know how to respect privacy. So I was startled that they were all both already in our room, trying to wake Pietro up. So that was the first lesson that I learned, that it took time for me to understand. Okay, so that was it. And I think Pietro understood that it wasn't really my custom to do that. So after a few days, I think he decided to take me around Sicily, just the two of us alone, where of course we stayed in the hotel. We went to places like Tower of Mina. I think it's the most beautiful place in Sicily. We stayed in a beautiful hotel near the arena, and beautiful. I enjoyed that so much. And then he took me to a place called Erice, where so happened there was like a world meeting of something. So it was enchanting. The night that he took me for dinner, it was outdoor, al fresco. Oh, how lovely, And it was, I don't know, it was by the mountain or something. It was like a dream, and I couldn't remember the detail. But what I could share with you is, after the chef, noticed us, and then the moment he finished cooking, he came to sit with us. And I remember Pietro still was a smoker, and they smoked together, and they talked, they chatted, That's one thing about Italians that I love, the warmth that they give towards their own people. So, like as if they know each other, but they didn't. They just laughed, sitting with us. One thing about Pietro, if I'm not mistaken, I have already mentioned that Pietro is very endearing to Italians. Italian people like him. I'm sorry, the sound of the mosque, because it's the opening of the breakfast, the break of the fasting, because we are still on fasting months until I think the 5th of June, where they will celebrate their new year. So anyway, and Pietro was chatting, and we had a beautiful time. Oh, it was lovely, And then after we went to places like Agrigento, Trapani, Catania, and Palermo. Yes, Palermo. And that was it. At that time, it wasn't an Instagram time, or YouTube, so we didn't take video, and photos were scarce, because Pietro is not the kind of man that would like to take photos. So I was the one who always had to think of taking photos, and when he did take initiative to take photos, he couldn't focus properly, so the photos were never great as a result. So anyway, okay, I'm gonna share you a little bit of very, very private story. So once we were just driving in the night, in the middle of these big mountains in Sicily, there was nobody. It was dark. And then, Pietro just stopped on top of this old little bridge there. Just decided to stop there, and then that's it. He just loved me. Okay, let's put it that way. He just loved me, and that was really a wow. Whew, I didn't expect that. So how couldn't I fall in love with this man? Oh my God! And that was the time also when he took me to the town of this Cefalu. Cacciatore is where their villa was, and Cefalu is the town. is the town. So in that town, that's when he asked me to enter the shop that I think I've already shared the story on the previous video, that he bought me the ring. It wasn't like an engagement ring, but he decided, you know, out of the blue to buy me this ring that I changed because I didn't like his choice. I changed to the one that I have to this day. So anyway, so that was a beautiful, beautiful memoir of my husband and I in Italy. And yeah, so we stayed in Italy like for, I don't know, I don't remember because, you know, we went there several times. There was a time when we didn't uh, leave, I forgot now, we didn't leave Milan. No, okay. We left Milan by car to Sicily. I think it's like 800 kilometers, okay, drive. So we did stop in Rome for 2 nights, you know. Oh, I love that, you know, 2 nights we would stop there and we would meet his friend, and the friends would invite us for dinner with the whole family. And then after that, we would stop in the south of Italy called Calabria, 1 night there, and then we would cross with the ferry to Sicily because it's an island, and then landed and then arrived in Messina, and then from Messina we took the car all the way to Cefalù, which took, I have no idea, I don't remember anymore. Ooh, David, you know, it's been like 10 days that it hasn't rained, so it might rain tonight. So yes, so we went to yeah, okay. So when and then the mother, I think, since the sister already left, so the mother we had to leave also. But you know, Pietro had cousins there. You know, it's a doctor living in Palermo in a beautiful house, but also they have a beautiful country house. So you know, the cousin and the auntie can take care of the mother. So Pietro and I, we flew from Sicily, Palermo to London because Tanya was there with my brother, because my brother was there as the head of the Bank of Indonesia for Europe. So his assignment was, in London for I think 4 years, 3 years, I don't recall. But anyway, Tanya was with them. So Pietro decided to go to London, you know, to see her. You know, one thing about Pietro, he loved Tanya right away, you know. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to persuade. I didn't have to say anything to him. He just loved Tanya. And right away, he called Tanya darling. You know, that's Pietro. And actually, he complained to me a little bit. He said, you know, I wish she could call me father. Yeah, daddy, you know. But I said to to him, she can't call you daddy because she has already a daddy, you know. But he wanted so much that she called him daddy or papa in Italian. But it's a bit, you know, awkward because after all, Tanya has a father, so Tanya just called him Pietro. I still have difficulty in using past tense. So we went to meet Tanya in London, also my brother. But then at the time I wasn't married to Pietro yet. So for your information, okay, this is a little bit also personal story. So for your information, my brother didn't want to meet him at all because, you know, anyway, there's a story behind it, okay? I can't blame my brother, I understand him. And so, you know, Pietro had to wait in the car while I came to my brother's house, and just to talk with him, and then to pick Tanya up so that we could take Tanya around London. We took the boat on the River Thames, you know, to go to London Bridge and, you know, around the, you know, Piccadilly Circus, etc., Oxford Street, Selfridge, and all those places. And then after we dropped Tanya. But we stayed in the Knightsbridge area where the hotel called Vanderbilt Hotel. It was so cozy, the hotel. I remember the breakfast was so good because I think in the world the best breakfast is English for me. English breakfast for me. So they prepared the buffet with all these English sausages, baked beans, and toast and eggs. But I don't know why it was so good. So Pietro and I stayed there, and okay, so that was the time we went to meet Tanya, and then we left. I think after 4 days, but I had allergy. I had an attack of allergy. Oh, that was really funny because anyway, because it was so many changes going through in my life that maybe my body couldn't take. So suddenly, I got all swollen because I don't know what's wrong. Maybe because of the. It's funny because in Sicily it's so hot, and then when we landed in London, which was in August, the wind was so strong and cold for me. Maybe because coming from Sicily, the contrast was too much that my body just came out with rashes. Not rashes, but you know, all the bumps. It's crazy that Pietro had to call a doctor to the hotel to give me medication, and that was it. So we left, and then we flew back to Sicily. We went back to the villa, and then the mother came back there and then stayed with us just for a few days, and then after the mother went back to the cousin, and then Pietro and me went back to Milan by car. So that was the story, and it's already 15 minutes, so I better stop now because I don't want to spend or take your time too long to tell this story of my memoir. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that story. If there are any questions, just ask. No problem at all. I can share for the sake of, fantasy story for you so that you can just imagine, or curiosity for you to know. I am willing to share with you because after all, it's a beautiful story. Why keep it to myself only? It was a beautiful romantic story with my Italian husband, even though, of course, again, I have to emphasize that it was also a difficult marriage because of the culture difference and culture shock between us two. All right. Okay, so hope you're having a nice Wednesday today, and thank you for wasting the time, for spending the time with me here. So until next time, ciao ciao.